Well, hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about cycles, patterns, and innovation. Let's get started. So, cycle and patterns. Why? Because in my work with my client, that's what I look at. What kind of patterns are they going through? Are they repeating? Is it a cycle? Where does it come from? So we can change the pattern. And these are just my observation. I started to think about, I've seen that before. So let's go through a few examples of what I've seen before. Herbalism and essential oils is actually what I started with when I was 15, 16 years old in Switzerland. We talked a lot about essential oils, about herbal stuff, and we had Maurice Messeguet, who was a leader in France about plants and essential oils. And then it kind of fell by the wayside. And a few years ago, all of a sudden, it seems everybody's talking about essential oil. You need to have essential oil for all kinds of health challenges. And it's true, it is really helpful. But to me, that's kind of in a cycle. It was there when I was between 15 and 20 in Switzerland. And then I didn't hear anymore. I couldn't even get essential oils. And now there is so many companies that have essential oils, which is great for your health, but choose the good one, an organic one that has a lot of science behind it. Then when I was 18, I was with a group of engineers, architects, and we were studying UFOs in Switzerland. And I remember we went up a mountain because somebody told us UFOs were going to land on that mountain that night. Naturally, it was very foggy, so park the car, climb to the chalet from where we were going to do our research. And then we got bored and decided we're just going to go down the mountain. And we started down, and actually we did a loop. So it's true, in the fog you can do a loop. And 2 hours later we went back to that chalet. And somebody who knew the surrounding better than we did helped us to go down the mountain. But no, we didn't see any UFOs. Bit of trivia: which animal does not go in a circle? The donkey. Because apparently the donkey's heart is right in the middle of its chest. And for that reason, the donkey does not get lost in the fog. That was just a bit of trivia. Then let's go to the next slide. And astral projection. I did astral projection as a kid. I thought everybody did. I used to get out of my body and go seek answers when I was in school. That's why I was so good in school. Question was asked and I popped out. I got to go get the answer. And then I knew what was happening. And then around 18 to 20, I started to follow some seminars. And we were told how dangerous that practice could be. Later on, when I was in a Christian cult, I had to renounce doing astral projection. And I regret I did that because it was fantastic. I was visiting different old monuments, seeing them very up close. It was great. And now we hear again about workshop to teach people how to do astral projection. I also had near-death experiences, so I know there is something beyond this world that we are living that is absolutely fantastic. But right now we are living on planet Earth, so let's make it a good journey. And then meditation, relaxation, yoga, Eastern philosophy started when I was 15. I took my first workshop in relaxation when I was 15. Then I learned meditation. I also did yoga at the time. And then I was so thrilled with Eastern philosophy that I took a trip from London to Kathmandu in a converted Bedford truck. And in New Delhi, I went to Sri Aurobindo's ashram. And Sri Aurobindo and his mother had died, but there is still a guru there. And I was looking for enlightenment. I wanted to know the truth about spirituality. I was 20. And he told me you can go all over the world. You're not going to find it because it's inside of you. And he told me to go meditate someplace on a compound, which I did. And he said, connect with your heart. That's where enlightenment is. And over the years, I found out that He is right. It's inside each one of us. We don't need to go to expensive workshop, travel the world. Enlightenment is within each of us. And at some time, I don't know why, what causes it, but you're gonna know the truth, or at least make sense of what's going on. And then I went to Sri Aurobindo's Auroville, that's near Madras, was near Madras. They had started to build it at that point, was not finished, and it is finished now. I hear it's a wonderful place, the city of peace. He achieved what he wanted, to have people from all over the world living together in peace. I'd love to go visit again. Then I went to Sri Lanka and flew back to Switzerland. Let's talk about more cycles. Juicing. I just got a newsletter about how great juicing is. I know, that's how I helped myself. I had cancer. When I was 15, I was diagnosed with skin cancer. I had surgery every 6 months. And I was studying psychology with an institute in Paris. They were also teaching people about nutrition. I bought my first juicer when I was 18, started to juice, cleansed, and that did it for me. Cancer is not always that easy to get rid of, but that did it for me. So I've been juicing on and off for a lot of years. And now people are telling you, juice, it's good for your health. And yes, it is, especially if you juice the right types of vegetables and not too much fruits that contain too much sugar. Then diets. It's amazing. When I was in Switzerland, what was I? I was 16. I was working, and there we didn't go about losing pounds, we were losing ounces. I remember one of my colleagues coming back from a weekend trip, and he said, I gained so many ounces, I need to get on a diet. And at the time, it was the Atkins diet. Eating a lot of meat. Then there was a counterbalance where people became vegetarian, vegan, and then we went back to paleo, keto. Now we have a great movement of plant-based food, and at the same time another movement starting about being carnivorian. So it keeps moving. What I say is decide to be healthy, whatever it takes. Maybe sometime you need to be a vegetarian or vegan, sometime you need to eat meat. Go according to your blood type, your metabolic type, your brain chemistry type, and be healthy. Another pattern about clothing, that was a funny one, because I just saw that the elephant pants are coming back. And I remember when I was 16, my boyfriend and I had matching brown pants that had those elephant legs. Now we have again the elephant pants with a little embellishment being torn up on the knees. And last but not least, going into the fifth dimension, the law of attraction, talking with alien, or aliens talking with us. When I was doing the class on relaxation, we were going from workshop to workshop and traveling to different planets and getting information from aliens. Then I remember about 20 years ago was the idea of changing our DNA to get us to that fifth dimension. And now it seems like every day I'm getting a newsletter where somebody is saying, let's move into that fifth dimension. And why not live on this planet and be happy in the third, maybe fourth dimension without trying to escape to a fifth dimension, spending tons of money and being disenchanted. So around 2000, I was teaching the law of attraction before The Secret came out, because things were working for me. I would decide something, I would do a dream board, and everything worked until one day nothing worked. And then I met some other people who had the same experience. It works sometimes, sometimes not. It's almost like going to Las Vegas and playing the slot machine or the card games or whatever. Some people do win, but not many. And people get disenchanted, get depressed, or lose a lot of money. So be aware about what's transpiring, what is on a cycle, and who is making money, who is truly making it. I just read hundreds of people who were disenchanted going after workshops say, yeah, everything was working during the workshop, we were feeling great, we were giving testimonials, and we were home 2 weeks later, and all of a sudden everything fell apart. We were not healthy anymore. And yes, there is some that will tell you, well, that's because you don't believe but that's not necessarily a belief, because maybe the teaching is not appropriate. Just be aware. Don't fall for anything that looks too great. Do your research, scientific research. And let's talk about scientific innovations, making your life better. So surgery has had tremendous improvement, and neuroscience. Surgery, I had my first knee surgery when I was 13. I spent 3 weeks in the hospital and had crutches for 6 months. About the same surgery, I was 21. I spent 10 days in the hospital and only 1 month on crutches. And now if I had the same type of surgery, instead of having over 60 stitches in my knees, I would have 2 little slits, and they would have been able to go in there and correct what was wrong. Again, I corrected that with nutrition, but that's another story. They've done tremendous innovations in surgery and in neuroscience. I'm so fascinated by what they're finding about the brain. Now that we know which circuit causes anxiety, causes fear, causes addiction, and with very little training, we can totally change these connections. So in 12 sessions, combining manual acupuncture stimulation and image activation with a patient who was diagnosed with general anxiety disorder, we can see his brain. The blue brain that you see on the left is what a quiet brain is like. But somebody who has anxiety has all kind of colors, red and pink and turquoise. And after 12 sessions, I think it was in the space of 4 weeks, the person had a much more peaceful brain. You can see in blue and turquoise on the bottom there. We don't need to do psychology, psychotherapy for years now. We know which part of the brain is activated when we have anxiety, when we have addictions, and then we can quite quickly change the patterns in the brain. And when you change the patterns in the brain, you also change your behavior. So here's the whole article about how the study was done. If you want to explore your abilities, if you want to understand better, just give me a call. It's free, it's confidential. Go on danielljcoaching.com/discover. Contact me. I'd be delighted to speak with you and get you into some tips and tricks to help you have a better life. Talk to you soon.